Svalbard, the last stop before the North Pole. This is the place where polar bears rule the tundra, locals have to be armed when leaving the settlement, and where nobody can be born. This island is the home of many animals, but there is one animal in particular that is not welcome, and that is the cat. Because on this Arctic island, cats are banned.
There are so many different myths about Svalbard, and when I read them in the news, I always kind of go, how did this just spread? Like the whole thing about it being illegal to die here. It's not. I don't know who said it is, but everybody thinks it is. The only thing you can't do is be buried, and I mean, that's quite different. Of course you can die here. Let's hope you don't. So I've taken it upon myself to myth bust. I'm gonna tell you what is true and what isn't. And today we're gonna talk about the fact that cats are banned, and it's the sad truth. But at the same time, there are cats here. So, I mean, that's a bit weird and goes against all of the rules. So cats are banned, but we also have cats. But I think I'm gonna have to show you more and tell you more and why we ended up here. And why I can tell you lots about this subject is because my name's Cecilia and I've lived here for now 8 years. Well, soon to be 8 years in November. So I've gathered quite a lot of information and I want to share it with you. So let's roll the tape.
There are a lot of laws on Svalbard in order to protect the nature and the animals that live here. For example, seeking out a polar bear is illegal, birds and other animals may not be disturbed, and the tundra is protected to the point where you're not even allowed to pick flowers, and doing anything but walk on it is prohibited. So it's maybe not so strange that they decided that cats wasn't the best kind of animal to let loose in the fragile Arctic nature. In 1992, they introduced the law that bans cats from Svalbard. It might sound harsh, but cats can be pretty brutal to the environment. Svalbard has lots of breeding colonies of seabirds and other bird species, and even a handful of cats could potentially cause absolute havoc to local populations of some of these bird species. But that's not the only reason, because cats can bring diseases. They carry lots of different parasites in their guts and intestines, and then we also have the issue of rabies. Mainland Norway has remained rabies-free for over 100 years, but Svalbard not so much. The first case was detected in 1980, and since then there have been many more cases, mostly in Arctic foxes, but also in reindeer. Rabies is a very serious and potentially deadly disease, and the government even encourages anyone who partakes in the yearly reindeer hunt on the island to take the rabies vaccine as a precaution. So this is another thing that cats could potentially spread, either to the wildlife around them or to their owners, if they would be allowed to roam freely on the island.
So when you look at all of that information, you kind of realize that it's, pretty reasonable that cats are banned because they could wreak complete havoc. And I'm guessing the reason why we can't have indoor cats is because they are, known to break out of their houses and have a mind of their own. So I think it's, pretty safe to say that it's easier to just ban them and not have them. But that also maybe brings up the question, why are dogs allowed? Because they can also do damage. So what we have is we have polar breeds, and then we have the rest of the dogs basically up here. So if you own a polar breed, which would be huskies, samoyed, malamute, it is under a mandatory leash restriction all year round. So it can never be off leash. But I have a Finnish Lapphund, which is Grim. So he's not a polar dog, which means that he can go free all year round, except for the one time of year, right now, when there is a mandatory leash season, which is from this date to this date. So right now he may not go off leash, which is, completely reasonable, of course. And it's because there are so many baby animals being born now. All of the birds are here also during the summer. We have all of the baby birds, baby foxes, and everything like that. So we need to keep them protected and away from the dogs because naturally they do also have a prey drive. I also don't really remember what other kind of animals you can have here. So there's people who have bunnies. I think somebody had an exotic bird at home. I know you can have certain birds here. Maybe you can also have a hamster. allt detta dit. Vi lägger en pinne på brasan. Jävlar vad varmt. Ja. Hello! Today is a moody day outside. It's one of the first days with rain, I think in a few months. I can't remember the last time it rained, and that's quite unusual. Nowadays in the summers, it can be pretty rainy here. So I put on a little fire to really make it cozy. I'm sweating. I have the door open, but it's very cozy. It's because the fireplace is just way too good at heating this house. Grim is on the sofa here chilling. We gave him a shower today. His first shower in, I want to say almost a year. Maybe he's had one in between, I can't remember. But we rarely give him a shower because during the winter, his fur, he needs that insulation that he kind of creates with the fat on his skin and then the fur. And also he's out in the snow all the time, so he needs nothing. He just rolls in the snow and he's all fresh. And then now during summer, usually we give him a shower in the beginning if we need, but he's just been so fresh and crispy. Maybe not crispy, but a little bit farty smell. But he has had, he's been outside and it's been fine. But today I looked at him and I'm like, you look a little bit, you look like you need a shower. So we gave him one. And it went well. Let me show you.
Ja, snabbt var vi här. Så. Ja, så skaka. Ja, brrr. Ja, duktig. Ja, så duktig.
Ja, det är fint. But that being said about cats being banned here, I now have some interesting information, which is that there are actually cats here. This goes against everything that I've just said, but these cats don't live in Longyearbyen. They live in Barentsburg, which is the Russian neighboring coal mining town, about 60 kilometers west of Longyearbyen. I'm pointing this way because it's that way. If I look out, it's over there. We can see it from here. And they have cats.
This is Barentsburg, a Russian coal mining town that lies about 60 kilometers west of Longyearbyen. It first got its name in 1920 when a Dutch company bought and named the place after the Dutch seafarer William Barents, who discovered their northwestern part of Spitsbergen in 1956. In 1932, Barentsburg was sold to the Soviet state-owned company Arktikugol. Ever since the fall of the Soviet Union, the community has been maintained by the Russian state-owned company Trust Arktikugol. About 400 people live in this very remote town on Svalbard, together with, believe it or not, a couple of cats.
I spoke to my friend who used to live in Barentsburg for many years to get some more information about the cats, because what's been spread in the media has been quite a lot of just myths and made up rumors.
The cats that are in Barentsburg were brought there before the ban was put in place, which is why the government let them stay. The most famous one went under the name Kesha. Kesha became an internet celebrity and many photos of the cat were shared online. The bright orange feline would walk the streets of Barentsburg freely and was well fed by the locals as well as by the tourists. It was also widely spread around that Kesha was registered as an Arctic fox, and that was the reason it had managed to stick around even after the ban. Kesha died in 2021 at the age of 14, according to the locals.
So the name of the cat was Kesha, but it wasn't actually called Kesha. It had many different names, but then Kesha was the one that stuck, so people just kept calling it that. Then also it's the classic rumor about it being registered as a polar fox so that nobody would know it's a cat, and that's also just kind of made up. No such thing, but I think it's, it's a fun rumor that just keeps saying whatever you want, but it wasn't called Kesha and it wasn't registered as a polar fox. So he also told me that in 2010, the cats that they had then weren't really anybody's house cats. So many of them would live at the storage facility where they had food, where they would hunt for mice, and people would just kind of feed them whenever they showed up at their apartment block, or if they were just like, they would get food from anyone. So they weren't anybody's specific cat. He also told me that anytime somebody new moved to Barentsburg, they would want to kind of like rescue this Kesha cat. So that cat was like frequently taken into different families where it was like, no, thank you. I want to live on the streets. I'm living my best life. So it just had like random places to live all the time, but it wasn't somebody's specific cat, is what he told me.
When the cat ban was put in place, there was a small amount of cats in Barentsburg, which the government hoped wouldn't become many more. All of the cats are monitored by vets from Longyearbyen and vaccinated on a frequent schedule as to not spread rabies and protect the locals from potentially getting the disease through one of the cats. In 2019, the vet reported there to be about 5 cats in Barentsburg. All of these came, according to the vet, from the cats that were brought before the ban was put in place. The import of cats to Svalbard is still in no way allowed. In 2020, 2 cats arrived in Longyearbyen on a plane from Moscow with the attempt of moving to Barentsburg with its owner. They had not been aware of the current law, even though it's communicated on the governor's website. The procedure in this case would be to euthanize the cats at the expense of the owner, but thankfully they found a way of returning the cats on the same flight back to Moscow instead.
Min son. Oj, jävlar! Come on, let's show them. Holy moly, my son! Look at this. Someone is shedding. Is this yours? Oh my gosh, we've had so much now. I'm gonna have a sweater soon. Oh, you smell like oatmeal. I love that the shampoo is the scent of oatmeal. It's so rainy outside. Herregud, det är nog ingen päls kvar. You feel like a little Angora rabbit. Herregud, du är så fin. Du är så fin. Oh my gosh. Kristoffer, det här är ju helt sinnessjukt hur han känns.
No.
I don't think well, is this what clean feels like? Kristoffer, är det? Is that the big difference, that this is actually a clean dog? Yeah, we're never gonna let you outside when you're this beautiful. Oh my gosh, Grim. Oh, you're so... Well, I was just gonna say thank you so much for watching this video. I'm gonna make a few more like these because it's like a lot of fun. I learn a lot also. I had to do tons of research, and when I asked my friend, I called him up and I was like, I need some help. I need some information about the cats in Barentsburg. He's like, you need what? I'm like, let's meet for coffee. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, maybe press like. Maybe subscribe for more videos like this. And also perhaps the notification bell, because then you get notifications on when I post, which is every Sunday. Thank you so much for today. I shall see you next week. Bye. Oh my gosh. You feel like you don't even have any fur. Move in. Look at this beautiful specimen of Laphund, and how orange he is this year. Don't fight it, Grim. Don't fight it. Oh my gosh, you're beautiful. Look at this. Oh, it's so beautiful. And this was the ball I put together earlier. Grim, this is all yours. Wow. But du är så ren. The cleanest